Welcome everybody to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. My name's Scott, and today we are back having a look at our urban parking system repository, and we've been building it up over a number of sessions with my learned friend here, Stephen. How are you today, Stephen?
Very well, Scott, and very glad to be here.
Thanks so much. I understand we're looking at strategic models again today, but in particular, we're looking at decision tables and how decisions can be represented in Enterprise Architect. So could you perhaps tell us a little bit more?
I would be delighted to, Scott. Yes, we're going to be looking at the broad topic of strategic models. We have already created a number of strategic models of different types in previous videos. Today, we are going to be focusing on decision tables. I want to just say, Scott, that there are many different ways to represent decisions in Enterprise Architect. We looked at a decision tree as one of the strategic models. There is also another very large topic called decision modeling and notation, a language for representing decisions. But we're going to be focusing on the decision table in Enterprise Architect. So let's get started. As always, I start with setting the perspective, and that's available from the top right-hand corner of the application. I have been doing some executable state machine work earlier today, so that's been my perspective. But I'm going to switch it now and say we want to switch to strategy, and I'll say all strategy. So the perspective set is strategy, and the actual item, the perspective, is all strategy. We have a number of different options there, but I'll choose this one. The tool immediately changes its focus so that we can look at the strategic modeling aspects of the tool, and you notice the builder page has popped up, and we actually have a lot of different patterns, if you like, that create these things. We have got a decision analysis with tree, and we have a decision analysis with decision table there, and we can see that the pattern is there that allows us to create that. But as always, Scott, I want to do this from first principles. I want to show people the sort of the longhand way to do it, and then you can easily go back and use this pattern for your work. But let's get started. I'm going to close the builder page for a minute, and we want to go and look at our strategic models. I'll quickly use this this navigation diagram to show you the things that we've already done. So I click on that little icon there to view the diagram. Pops it up in a dialog box. We've done value chain. We've done mind maps and flow charts and organization charts and balance scorecard, decision trees, and SWOT analysis. So let's get started with decision tables. So as always, we need to find a location for this in the browser, and we select decision models in the browser, and you can see now that we've got a number of different packages representing the different types of models. So I'm going to create a package there from the strategic models node, and I'm going to call it decision table. So with that done, package only, I'm now going to do something a bit different, Scott. Most of the time when we've been working, doing videos of things, we've always created a diagram. I'm going to do this without a diagram today. We don't need a diagram because this is actually a table. So we've got our activity toolbox open here. Let's drag an activity from the toolbox directly onto that decision table node, and we'll drop it on there. And let's give this one a title. So it's a heading there, and let's call it parking meter usage. So this is what our decision's about the use of the parking meter and the kind of things that a motorist might do when they're using the parking meter. Now, that's changed the name here. Now, if I right mouse click on here, you'll see that there's an option to say decision table. I'm going to click on that, and Enterprise Architect opens up the table in the main view. Now, most of the time we've been talking about canvases when we've been talking about diagrams. So for instance, if I go back to home here and go to strategic models, you notice that opens up a diagram. But the main area of the tool, the central part of the tool, can house all sorts of things, diagrams, matrices, and also this decision table. So let's make a start. what we're basically going to do is put in a number of conditions and then a number of conclusions or rules. So what we'll do here is we'll put in a condition 1. Call it condition 1, and we might just leave it like that. Condition 1. Well, actually, no. Let's put it in as in a name form like that. Now, the next thing we have to do in a column is we have to put in something that's going on, some condition that's being met. And so what that's going to be is vehicle detection. So the condition is, has the vehicle been detected? I'm going to move these guys out a little bit, create a little bit more space out here for what we're going to put in. And what we're going to put in is a number of different kind of conditions or values that could be in place there. So what we'll do is we'll put in, has the vehicle been detected or not? And we'll put in something here that represents that. So if the vehicle's detected, say it's present, and the other value is it's not present. And we give little codes to that you'll see are going to be useful when we start putting in the conclusion or the rules. Let's go forward and put a few more in here. We've got this condition here. We can just say add another condition, and we can call it condition 2.
If you need to add an extra column, is that easy to do?
Yeah, that's completely easy, Scott. And you'll see that there's a little toolbar above here, and that one there is adding a condition. That one there's adding a conclusion, and that one there's adding a column. So very easy to put one in. I'll just put another column in, and then I can delete that column if I want to.
Very easy.
Yeah, very easy indeed. So all there, either from the right mouse click or from the toolbar. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in, like I said, these conditions that we'll put in, and this one is payment method. So a number of different options for payment: coins, credit card, mobile apps, or none. Now, clearly the trajectory of the urban parking system is to phase out coins, but there are some business constraints about doing that, and there are some parking meters in older parts of the urban environment that still will take coins. So we keep going with this, and we put in a number of different conditions. So another condition we'll put in here is the condition 3 we'll put in, and this one is about the requested duration. And there are two possibilities there, and that's what we're always looking at: is what is the the set of possibilities for a particular type of condition. And so in this one, we can have that the requested time is within the limit or exceeds the limit. So that's one of the conditions. And then we've got a series of other ones, and we'll just put a couple more of those in, and then we'll start looking at some of the conclusions or rules here. So condition 4, and put that one in, and let's say that one is the operating hours. So there are peak times or off peak times with the parking meters, and we'll put those in as well. So with that done, we've got a little bit more work to do there. There are a number of other things like zone classification and payment status and meter time status and all sorts of other things that we need to put in. But let's just turn our attention to this bottom section of the table here, which is dealing with the conclusions. Now, I prefer, rather than calling conclusions, I prefer to call them rules. And I'm going to just number the rules there. And what I want to do is to put in to describe the situation, I guess, that the meter's in. So what are the conditions that it's in? And that's where using these little abbreviations or little acronyms for the various conditions are useful. So what I'm going to do is put in the first one of these. First rule is when there's no car present or no vehicle present at all. And I'm going to put in any, meaning it doesn't matter what the other conditions are, and I'll just put the 4 in for the moment. And what's the thing that's required for the system to do? And actually, the system doesn't need to do anything in here. It's just going to be no action required. But what's the message that the parking meter system has got? A message display on it, which we've talked about in previous videos. And let's put that message into this column here. And welcome, insert payment. So that's what's going on there. I am going to do your thing of adding another column. I do need another column now, so I'll add another column. And this is what the system is doing, or what its actions kind of have to be. And what it's going to do is it's going to be waiting for the vehicle turn up. I'm going to expand this column a little bit, and in this one I'm going to put in await vehicle detection.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on there. I can add another rule here quite simply. You see there's a little plus button down the bottom here to add another rule, or I can do it from from this one here, add a conclusion. So whichever way you do it, I'm going to call this rule number 2. But as always, Scott, people will do this differently. You might want to call them a conclusion. So let's have a look at this. So let's have a look now. We'll say, actually, let's choose a situation where the vehicle is present. The payment is none so far.
Yep.
And any other condition for the other two will be fine. So let's having a look at what needs to be done now. So essentially, we'll be waiting payment message description there. And let's have a look what the system's actually doing while this is happening. And we, in this one case here, we say monitor for payment input. So as you can see, what we've got is a bunch of conditions, and then we've got a bunch of rules that are describing what happens if those conditions are met. So Scott, what I'm going to do is get you to perform some of your magic, and let's see if we can move this along a little bit and put in some of the other detail.
Well, thanks, Stephen. I can see that we have our various conditions up the top, and we have all of our rules down the bottom with lots of different permutations of some cars being present, not present, and different payment methods being applied. So perhaps you can tell us how we can now use this information in Enterprise Architect and get some value out of it.
Yeah, sure, Scott. Yeah, we have completed that now. And remember that these are 7 conditions that we've listed. There may be more in your own systems. That's just an example of the kind of conditions that you might want to put in. And you can see, as you said, rightfully called sort of permutations. So, what are the combinations of these different conditions that we need to look at? As always with this kind of thing, a business analyst or someone experienced at analyzing this thing realizes that they've got a certain amount of time to be modeling things, and they want to be able to model all of the important things here. So like with testing, you can't test everything in a system. You have to kind of be strategic and think about the kind of test that you need to do that will give you the best bang for bucks. And the same with this, what are the conditions? What are the combinations of conditions that are really important for understanding how the system's going to work? You asked a question about how it can be used. These messages here are incredibly useful. They're kind of done by the business people about what's going to go on at a particular time, and you can see the kind of message that might be displayed to a motorist as they're using the system. So just another kind of tool in the toolbox, Scott, of strategic modeling, and it is a very, very useful model to explore and analyze these different situations.
Yeah, I can see that you've basically told the engineers what display messages appear on the LCD screen or on the app, and based on a certain number of rules. So I can see where that would be really powerful.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'd like to thank our audience for joining us today to have a look at decision tables and how they can be easily implemented in Enterprise Architect. As always, we encourage you to subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel so you can hear the latest and greatest whenever we talk about various features within Enterprise Architect and other Sparx Systems tools. We always love your feedback. We love getting comments on our videos and suggestions for future videos. And as always, if you have any questions about some of the material you've seen here today and you want some additional assistance, then you can reach out to Stephen in the LinkedIn details and the other contact details listed below in the description of this video. And you can seek some assistance and some additional help. As always, thank you very much, Stephen, for your effort and your help in showing us how decision tables work today. It's been fantastic.
Thanks, Scott. Always a pleasure to be sharing.